Stacy is an ordinary working woman who does not attract much attention when she walks down the road, but she has a loving husband, Keith, by her side. Keith is a police officer and is usually not at home. They're happily married, but sometimes conflict arises when Stacy's self-loathing nature acts up in front of Keith. She's blessed with excellent taxidermy skills and has plenty of animals and birds taxidermied in her house. However, she longs to fit into the group of women working in the same bank who are beautiful and confident in her eyes, but her insecurities about her appearance are weighing her down. It's Christmas time, and with Keith being on duty, Stacy's all alone in the house. In her comfortable pajamas, Stacy's shuffling the channels and munching the chicken when she hears a thud coming from the basement. Grabbing an axe, she goes to check the basement and comes upstairs to check on the rooms as well. But she couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. Even then, Stacy dials her husband to tell him that she once again hears the noise and suspects that someone might be inside the house. As they have never had a stranger enter the house, Keith tells his wife that their house is very old and the old house often makes a noise at night. It seems like they have talked about this topic before because he cuts off the call without letting Stacy finish her sentence. The next day at work, as usual, her coworkers are gossiping about people. Stacy's not included in the conversation as expected. Also, she's intimidated by her coworker, especially Gina. She notices Gina putting on an expensive lotion on her hands and mimics the way Gina puts it on. Later that night, Cassidy comes up to her and lets her pick the last and the remaining chit for Secret Santa. The party is going to be held at Gina's place. Despite working together for a long time, it is the first time Stacy is being invited to the party, and now she has to prepare a gift for Gina. The next morning, Stacy hunts a duck and makes a taxidermy out of it as a Secret Santa gift, and with the present ready, she's excited and can't wait to go to the party. At Gina's house, all the ladies, draped in glamorous dresses, are in a circle talking about their affairs and beauty procedures, whereas Stacy is in her Christmas sweater standing right outside their circle. Now it's time for the gift exchange, but just then, Stacy realized that the Secret Santa exchange is not a secret, and everyone knows what the others want. Gina hands out her gift to everyone, and it's a complete set of Aloe Glow, the famous and expensive beauty product. Now, Stacy excitedly hands Gina a huge box that consists of the taxidermy, but it is not well received by the host. Keeping that aside, Gina tells the ladies to try on the Aloe Glow lotion. The chattering ladies open the lotion tube and gently rub it on their skin. Following the same thing, Stacy also takes some lotion and begins to spread it on her face and neck. But the lotion causes an immediate allergic reaction on her skin, turning it red hot, so immediately she returns back home to avoid the embarrassment. At home, Stacy tells Keith that it is just her who had it bad while everyone was fine with it. But Keith tries to convince her that she has sensitive skin. Itching her skin all night long, she couldn't fall asleep. So Stacy comes to the living room and turns on the television, where Aloe Glow's advertisement catches her attention. As the advertisement continues, Stacy feels like the man on the television is talking to her. She feels weird, but the man starts conversing with her. Stacy tells him that she's left with itchy skin after using Aloe Glow, and the man replies, "It hurts when it works, and skin itches when it's healing." He points out all of her insecurities and gets her hopes high, making her believe that she can be whatever she has always dreamed of. With that, the man urges Stacy to order more Aloe Glow, and she does as instructed. The next morning, Stacy receives a case of Aloe Glow that she puts in the basement. Keith tells her that she shouldn't be using that lotion anymore, as her skin looks really bad. He tries to make her understand that these cream and lotion companies brainwash the customers into thinking that there is something wrong with them. Stacy thinks that there is something wrong with her. Hearing this, Keith tells her that there's nothing wrong with her, but Stacy gets a little annoyed with him for not being supportive of her ongoing transformation. There seems to be no point in arguing with her, so Keith goes off to work, reminding Stacy not to scratch the bruises. Throughout the day, Stacy applies and reapplies Aloe Glow, enduring the inflammation and itchiness. But the itchiness persists and causes discomfort not just for her, but also for Keith. His sleep is disturbed as Stacy cannot stop scratching her skin. Irritated by this, Keith asks her to get the oven mitts and wear them to bed. Next, Stacy comes downstairs to grab a pair of oven mitts, but suddenly, the television turns on its own and the man calls her closer. She tells him that her skin condition is getting worse, but the man assures her that the lotion is doing its job and that she's not allergic to it. He further convinces Stacy that she needs to let the new version of her grow. Sensing that she does not trust him, the man vanishes from the screen, which leads Stacy to beg the man to come back. A while later, the man reappears and reminds Stacy that she needs to go all the way if she wants to be pretty. He signs off after telling her to use more Aloe Glow, which allows, quote, the new version of her to grow under her skin. Right at that instant, Stacy goes to the basement to grab a new bottle of Aloe Glow, but before she could grab one, the lid on the bottles open one by one on its own, and the lotion begins squelching out. Now, this freaks her out, so she decides to go to bed and lies under Keith's arm. She then asks the sleepy Keith if he could stay with her the next day, but he tells her that it's not possible. Meanwhile, the squelching of lotion continues to spill to the ground after filling the box, and the spilled lotion accumulates and begins to form a bulge on the surface. She comes down the next morning with a little bit of progress on her skin condition as the rations lighten and dried up skin could be peeled off. Later, when Keith comes back home from his duty, Stacy comes up to him and announces that her skin is healing. But that is not what Keith sees. He looks at her sternly and tells her that they should consult a doctor for her skin is getting worse. She argues and tells him that she is healing and only the lotion can fix her. Keith assures her that she needs no fixation and she's beautiful inside and out. However, his last statement fuels her anger and she storms off to the basement. When she comes downstairs, Stacy finds a humanoid figure made up of the lotion humming a melody, and when she stands in front of her, it imitates her movement. Seconds later, they interlock fingers, sharing a kiss with each other, while Stacy finds comfort in its embrace. Next, while grappling a scalpel, the ecstasy Stacy comes upstairs, but Keith is startled to see his wife drenched in the slimy fluid. Because the one standing in front of him is not the woman he has always loved, and to remind her who she is, Keith tells her about their beautiful love life and tells her why he loves her. But Stacy tells him that it's not too late because, quote, the new version of her is here, and she thinks that Keith is obstructing her transformation. So in a fit of rage, she digs the scalpel right into his forehead. However, Keith is too calm for someone who has just been attacked. He then asks Stacy to grab a towel for him and contact his fellow officers with his walkie-talkie. But before he could tell them about his situation, the crazy Stacy lunges an axe at the back of her husband. She then strikes a few more hits on him to make sure he's dead. Then Stacy follows the trail of thick, creamy footprints that leads her to a bathroom. In front of her eyes, the humanoid figure dives into the bathtub and changes back into the liquid form. Stacy then steps into the bathtub and submerges into the lotion while the lotion slowly creeps to cover her face. A while later, Stacy, covered in a thick layer of slimy lotion, comes out of the bathroom and enters her bedroom. Standing in front of the mirror, she sees a beautiful reflection of herself, free from rashes. She then runs downstairs to show Keith her new appearance, but even upon the realization that she has killed her husband, there is not a single speck of remorse on her face. Instead, she drags Keith's body and throws it into the basement. She then pulls out his insides, hoping to perform taxidermy. Finishing it up, Stacy comes back to her room and decides to cut her own hair. A little makeup and a switch to a total different wardrobe style, completely changing her appearance as well as attitude. All in all, she's satisfied with the way she looks now. Next, after placing her taxidermy husband in front of the television, Stacy heads to work after saying goodbye. Now, all heads turn towards her once she enters through the bank entrance, especially her coworkers who had never shown any interest in her. All the women swarm around her and Gina asks if she's done something to herself. Calmly, Stacy tells them that she changed her hairstyle to go for a shorter length. The flocking women marvel at her amazing skin and shower her with appraisals. Next, Stacy initiates gossiping about their colleagues and how their wives are ugly. Just then, Gina puts forth the suggestion of hanging out for dinner and drinks. And as the group of women laugh and gossip, they start touching and caressing Stacy's dress and skin. Now, as this creepy tale comes to an end, we see Stacy rising in the air while her fake laugh contains a mix of confusion, accomplishment, happiness, fulfillment, and anxiety. Please make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching.